of Liberia, you see that executive mansion? I will turn into a 5-star hotel. I don't need to be in such an elaborate infrastructure. It's been proven that you can run the executive mansion right out of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. You can run the executive mansion out of a small place. Why do we need a whole Ministry of State just for presidential affairs? And it's a place where different people, all our need, look, even me now as CEO with more than 5,000 employees across Africa in multiple countries, I don't really have a special assistant. My laptop is it. I have different departments, different heads of different sections, and they work. Why do we need a president to have such elaborate infrastructure? The sooner we review this, the better the budget will begin to work for us and for the people. And if that doesn't happen, we're always going to have this situation. And that's why we're saying, ladies and gentlemen of the press, people in Radio Land, that we need to change the governance style of our country by changing the people we give power to. Thank you so much. Getting $200 million from Mittal Steel when the deal is signed. You know the Mittal Steel deal has stalled. It stalled since year before the last, it stalled last year, and it could stall this year, right? So there is no guarantee that that's going to pass, but you reflect it in the budget. And there is something that's going to interest you as I go down. They took this entire inflow of $200 million and they placed it under something called PSRP. So that's where additional spend on education will come from. They took 81 million out of the core budget, the core revenue, to put it under the PSRP. I even have a problem with the definition of what they call PSRP, but I'm just bringing that to you. Then asset recovery. All of this noise about asset recovery, they anticipate getting $10 million for asset recovery, and it's also in this budget. That has raising it up to 10 million. You all know, if you accuse me of stealing, we have to go to court. And the court process takes years. So how are you now projecting that you're going to get $10 million on asset recovery process that just started? Maybe they will sell the $10 million property in Foya. I don't know who's going to go there to buy it. That Boyka is building that nobody wants to put it back in the budget. Who knows? I don't know. And maybe some of the other ones that Boyka have been stealing to distract. He will fire other people, and he has his own stealing. So I don't know how can a rogue be firing a rogue. But again, this too is Liberia. So we have a situation where $7.5 million also anticipated. What they've said is that henceforth, if they sign a concession, you will pay 2% upfront on your corporate income tax, right? So that 2% upfront is dependent on signing. And you know these things go through all kinds of things. Just the other day, they brought Oranto. There were a lot of flaws. People started talking about that. They brought another company. There was another company for the road, I think construction. There were a lot of flaws. So all of these, and that one is a loan anyway. But these concessions like Oranto and some of the other people that have all these flaws, you're now saying you anticipate 2% from them, even though it hasn't gone through, but you're reflecting it in the budget. That swears the budget up to 1.2 billion, which clearly
because I mean he claiming that the LGA ate the money. You have his ID card. So from what we are told, he's from the office of the Vice President. And he came to talk to the DA to release. This is his ID card. 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 And so we are told he's from the office of the Vice President, who actually came.
Spectrum 2025 estimates there are 36,000 people living with HIV in Liberia, representing a prevalence of 0.9%. The 2013 Liberia Demographic and Health Survey reported a prevalence of 2.1%. Of this number, women account for 21,000. Testing coverage has improved significantly. Out of the 36,000 persons estimated to be living with HIV in Liberia, 31,000 persons have been tested and know their HIV status. Of the 31,000 persons tested, 30,798 are on treatment. To date, 95% of those on treatment are virally suppressed. Distinguished colleagues and members of the press, as we celebrate these milestones, let us
of candidates Boyka Joseph N. and Jeremiah K. Kun of UP has the highest number of votes, 814,800 and I read that again, 814,481, constituting 50.64% over Wia George Mane and Joel Howard Taylor of CDC, 793,914, constituting 49.36% votes. Hence, the presidential ticket of candidates Joseph M. Boyka and Jeremiah K. Kun of the Unity Party is declared by the Commission as winner of the 14 November 2023 runoff election. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, the Commission informs you that on Friday, 17 November
construction and maintenance of roads a national priority. Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. President, for this enlightened vision and for the trust imposed in the young people of Liberia, of which I represent. Today, a large-scale program has been launched to rehabilitate more than 1,000 kilometers of main and secondary roads. Mr. President, we have incorporated modernization and regional integration into our major corridors. Currently, we are considering as a government the connecting parts of Monrovia to Freetown, Abidjan, and Conakry. We believe that these economic drivers will strengthen governance, transparency, but overall boost our economy. Mr. President, I must acknowledge the support of all of the young people that have served to support me at the National Road Fund of Liberia. Over the course of our service, we were able in the first 6 months to generate $14 billion in 2023. With the new governance structure and the leadership of our board, in 2024, for the very first time, we generated an unprecedented amount of $31 million. That is the highest funds generated by the National Road Fund, and with that, we were able to pay over 1,000 kilometers of road and road maintenance work. Additionally, Mr. President, just this year, we have implemented some strategic programs for the Minister of Internal Affairs to operationalize and empower the local governments. So currently, we are working with them strategically to advance your policy and your agenda in the villages. Honorable Ministers, distinguished colleagues, the National Road Fund, in addition, has operationalized and installed a system that will enable the public and everyone concerned with the road fund to view the information that we have. The National Road Fund dashboard. What this means is it gives us the total kilometer of roads that we're doing, where we are doing these roads, the cost of the roads, and every pertinent information that will be required for decision making. This dashboard is going to be displayed on our website for public consumption.
I can't stand no more, cause I'm a fool. I cannot go to school, cause no more money. I can't stand no more, cause I'm a fool. I cannot go to school, cause no more money. Hey yo, excuse me Mr. Journalist, I wonder how you make your headlines in the press release today. Although I read the news every day, but I'm really still getting confused now, and I just wanna ask you some questions. Oh, is it based on money? Is it based on presidency? Is it based on technology? Is it based on war? Tell me, we got major headlines. Oh, we got major stories. Yeah. There is no job, no money for hustlers.
Indeed, we got major headlines and major stories in your area today. This is Weez TV, the Roundtable. It's a great pleasure to be back on your stream. What is it tonight? Basically, we're gonna jump into sports, as we are aware that the National County Sports Meet kick off on Saturday. We will be talking to Roland Bantokar. He's gonna give us extensive update on the progress made so far in other sports related activities we've gathered as well. We will talk about that. We will look at the US government and the Liberian government. On today we saw a release from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, where the US State Department and Liberia signed 124 million MOU freezing West Africa, making Liberia the third country in Africa to sign this bilateral agreement. You know, earlier on it was by Kenya and Rwanda. What is it in this? We will be looking at that into depth right after we talk to Roland Bantokar on this program. So we take a break. When we get back, basically we run through with our talking points.
No cost, no glory, no help for poor men. That's what we know. We got major headlines, we got major stories. There is no job, no money for hustlers. We got major headlines, we got major stories. There is no job, no money for hustlers. You don't know stories? You've been writing stories from rock of ages. Keep writing stories about people who not too concerned. We got a lot of people in the ghetto, people on the block, people in the street. If y'all know what I know, follow me, and I'll take you to places where people are suffering. We got lame people, blind people. I mean, people that in need, man. People too much in need. Come on, yeah. How many people do you love, man? How many people do you cherish? How many people do you help out there? Most especially poor men. No job, no money. No cost, no glory. No help for poor men. That's what we know. How many people do you love? How many people do you cherish? How many people do you help out there? Most especially poor men. No job, no money. No cost, no glory. No help for poor men. That's what we know.
it's a great pleasure to be back on your radio, on your stream, as well as we talk about these issues that matter the most to our beloved country, Liberia. This is WE's online television. We live on YouTube and on Facebook, WE's TV. And we will start up with our talking points. Like I said, we are hopeful to have Roland Bantokai to join us as we talk about these things as well. So we will basically go through with these talking points for now. On today, we saw a release coming in. We saw a release. So we will have Roland joining us as well. But while we make frantic effort to have Roland joining us, we will basically go ahead and talk about a few things while we have Roland coming on. Let's talk about this bilateral agreement a little bit, which of course we want to be our main talking point after Roland have joined us. Uh, After Roland join us, we will uh, go ahead with that. So let me just read this release before Roland come on. Right, it says Liberia is third country in Africa to sign this bilateral, which is 124 million bilateral agreement precede only by Kenya and Rwanda. The government of Liberia, through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, has signed a landmark memorandum of understanding with the government of the United States of America aimed at strengthening Liberia's health system, disease surveillance, outbreak response capacity, and frontline health workforce. The MOU was signed by the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Liberia, Madam Sarah Beslow Yanti, and U.S. State Department's Jeremy P. Lewin, Under Secretary of Foreign Assistance, Humanitarian Affairs, and Religious Freedom in Washington, D.C. The U.S. State Department now serves as the agency responsible for implementing all foreign assistance, including humanitarian aid and promotion of economic development. In remarks delivered at the signing ceremony, Honorable Lewin stated that this government to government engagement is a symbol of deepening of bilateral relations between the United States and Liberia, the first country in West Africa to sign this category of health cooperation MOU, demonstrating demonstrating that's demonstrating deepening the bilateral relationship between demonstrating the nation's commitment to health security, uh, innovation in disease response, and long-term system resilience. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Madam Sarah Beslow Yanti, expressed Liberia's gratitude on behalf of His Excellency President Joseph Yuma Boakai Sr. and the people of Liberia. She said, we extend deep appreciation, to the government of and people of the United States for this historic partnership. We particularly recognize the technical support of the minister. So I'm trying to get, let me hold that right there while I try to get Roland on. Roland is basically uh trying to get on here. And once we get Roland on, we will talk about these things. So I'm still trying to get Roland on, and I'm still trying to get Roland on. to join us. Okay, Roland is on the shore now. Uh, Let me say good evening to you, Mr. Bantokai, and welcome to the round table.
So good evening, William Maggie. Good evening.
Have you been on here, or this is your first appearance?
This is my first appearance.
Wow, and it's a great pleasure to have you on tonight. A lot is happening in sport. Uh, Kantemi kicks off on Saturday, with all the matches playing on Sunday, and we have a report coming there from, I think it's Lofa, right? Lofa Kante coach that is having an issue in Grand Bassa. I want us to talk about these situations involving sport activities in our country. How is the sporting activities across Liberia?
Currently, the heat of the National County Sports Meet, the biggest sporting festival in Liberia, since the establishment for a couple of decades now. It's around the corner, and several counties have carried on huge preparation. Just a few minutes ago, we heard that Grand Bassa County Sports Steering Committee received the sum of close to 24,000 as they proposed 40,000 to the government of Grand Bassa County. Uh, they have received a sum of almost been reported ahead of the preparation. As a matter of fact, they are a host, and then Grand Bassa County is a notable name when it comes to football in Liberia, where the most celebrated star James is at these those from Roma, James Soto, Roberts. We just name a few of them. So the heat of the National County Sports Media is around the corner.
Okay. Well, a lot of great matches taking place on Sunday, right? Let's talk a little bit about this situation coming in with Lofa County, where the legs of Koli Kova has been arrested, and you have a new coach who is to take over his job as coach for Lofa County just a few days toward the kickoff of the National County Sports Meet, which I think has been one of the biggest sporting competition in Liberia that everybody goes to instead of our local league. That traditional league is widely witnessed by every Liberia.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate situation involving the governor of Lofa County, the man who led Lofa County to a historic sources a few months back at the Samarkand Sports Complex. Coach Kolikova, he happened to be one of the brightest young coaches in Liberia. His record speaks for him. He have coached several county teams, the likes of Mansoura County, and you just named them. But this report came in a few days ago that following his one quote unquote confrontation or issue with his club team, the Sano MPA Angus, for which he was suspended. And just after a few days, a week after his suspension, news came out, and then we heard that on his way, I think on his way to Grand Bassa or on his way from Grand Bassa, he got arrested at the Orange Grove Orange Grove checkpoint, where members of the John security took him to custody. They took him back in Buchanan, where he was detained at the Buchanan Central Prison following further investigation by the LDA as it relates to a alleged narcotic drugs trafficking. So he's currently being held back.
He's currently behind bars. One or two journalists tried reaching out to him. The legs of Thomas Pine from Grand Bas, one of the school's journalists there, tried to reach out to him, but then they were denied having an interview by the security apparatus. But happy currently, he has been proving that he's in jail there in Basa County, Ghana Central Prison. And then just a week ago, there's also issues relating his signature with the reigning champions, Olofa County. And as per reports, he penned deal, renew his contract to take on the mantle of authority to continue his work that he started with the reigning champions. But then this situation coming in, what becomes of the people of Lofa County? That is the bigger questions. And then we got some inside source relating to his current status being in jail, which might not be him to be on the line to continue his project. So one person being favor for the job, as the sources revealed into us, one person in favor for the job was who Grand Coup County, and then previously last year he was coach Grand Coup County, though they got eliminated. So he's been favored for the job. Hope the experience got for he's have had a better.
And what does this mean for the sport, the sporting activities, especially the sport arena in our country, alleged drug trafficking from a coach?
I don't think it's a good sign for our football. I don't think it's a good sign for sports. And he might not be the first person internationally. He might be one of the first person nationally since the national government took on the fight against drugs. He's been one of the celebrities, I think not one of, but probably the first person to have found himself in such situation. But I think it's not a good way forward. There have been other top celebrities have been following the issue of drugs trafficking, following the issue of drugs. Recently, a Paul Paki for his suspension, failing drugs text or whatever you, and then Adriano, who once used to play for Inter Milan, was also alleged with drugs issues. So I don't think it's a good sign for sports.
Meaning these things happen in the sporting arena as well.
Certainly, it happens. It happens. There have been a few scenarios relating to this situation, but I think Liberia currently for the cover, though he's pending further investigation, he has been alert. We don't have the authority to indict him, so his situation, he's alleged of drugs trafficking. So based on further investigation, that on legal proceedings, probably he could be found not guilty. He could be found guilty based on how the case goes. But he has been alleged of drugs trafficking.
Now, back to the National County Sports Meet on Saturday. Where are we having a kickoff, and what are some of the exciting matches should we expect on Saturday and Sunday?
Interestingly, kickoff is in Maryland County, where they are the official host. It's where you're going to see the official opening ceremony there in Maryland County, where the National County Sports Meet 2025-2026 is going to kick off. And then on the next day, there are going to be a couple of matches at different venues there in Baporu County, Nima County, and as well as Grand Bassa County. Well, all eyes are on, all eyes are there on Grand Bassa County, where several top teams will be involved. So many eyes are moving towards Grand Bassa County.
Okay. And what a team is what a country is supporting this year.
Uh,
Uh,
it's
we
unfortunate. I do not support county. I do not support county. Working as a professional journalist, I do not support county. But nationalistically, I do hail from counties. I do. My dad hail from Grand Cape, my county, Bando, Tiwa district to be precise, and my mother hails from Harper. She hails from Maryland County, Harper City. She's one of the house. And then I was born in Montserrat County, precisely Nuku Tansu. I'm from three different counties.
so aside from the profession, if you were like any ordinary person, you could have three countries to support.
uh, I think that is something that would have been difficult for me because I love my both parents. I love my both
Oh,
parents. I would not want to be partial. But I think above, I would just want to. I want to be like somebody moving to America and want to see greener pasture to see citizen by birth. So I would just choose for the sake of independence. Maybe I would just choose my county.
okay. And do you have any clue as to how soon we are going to see marches at the SKD where every Liberians wants to come and watch the national contest sports meet?
Yeah, a few weeks ago we saw the introduction of the floodlights. They had an exhibition night of full counties participating, where the floodlights were being tested, and then it is not bad. I think Liberians now do hope of seeing night games being played at the most famous summer contests. So I think it's a positive sign for our sporting community. It's a positive sign. I think, but there's still a little work to need to be done as well. So, but I think we are making some gains in terms of development when it comes to some of the infrastructure progress being made.
Okay. Anything else in sport you want to share with us, Roland?
Yeah, probably we will share the 2026 World Cup qualifiers. I mean, the 2026 World Cup fixture. The draw
Yeah.
conducted 2 days ago, so we moving gradually to it to just give a gist of the World Cup that was taking place a few days ago. So in Group A, you have Mexico who happen to be one of the co-hosts there with one of the giants from Africa, so Africa, Korea Republic, and the winner there will come from the playoff D. And then in Group B, you have Canada. You have another slot there for playoff teams. And then you have Qatar. You have Switzerland in that group. And then in Group C, you have one of the world football giants, Brazil, pair in zone with Morocco, Haiti, who gets their W year. We also have, no, sorry, you also have Scotland. You also have in Group D, you have USA, the host, alone of Paraguay, Australia, and position left for playoff C. And then in Group E, you do have Germany, you have a debutant Curacao, you have Cote d'Ivoire, you have Ecuador in that group. And then in Group F, you have Netherlands, one of the European giants. You have Japan, one of the giants from Asia. You have also a slot reserved for a playoff team. And then you have Africa, one of Africa giants. You have Tunisia in that group. And then in Group G, you have Belgium, you have Egypt, you have Iran, you have New Zealand in Group G. And then Group H, you have the Spanish boys, Spain, you have Cape Verde, who for the very first time will be appearing at the international stage of examination of football FIFA World Cup. And then you have Saudi Arabia, and that group completes with Uruguay. And then in the next group, Group I, you have European giants, France, Kylian Mbappe. You have Senegal, Sadio Mane. You have a slot reserved for another playoff team. And you have Norway, where Haaland, Odegaard, or hails from. And then in Group H, you have the Messiah, one of the greatest football icons, Lionel Messi, who probably might be playing his last World Cup with Argentina. And then you have Africa Giants, Algeria, you have Austria, you have Jordan in that group. That's Group G. And then in one of the last group, you have another world football greatest icon. I absolutely rate him. I must admit his level of consistency, his constructive jealousy to his that have contributed to his performance. And that's the man Cristiano Ronaldo, who will lead the Portugal squad there at that World Cup. He said it's going to be probably his last major competition for the people from Portugal. And then you have a slot reserved there for Group K. You have Uzbekistan. You have Colombia, the home of James, the man who scored a Puskas goal in the World Cup there. And then you have in the last group, Group L, the boys from England, Croatia, Ghana. And you're going to see Thomas Partey, Inaki Williams, Semenyo from Bournemouth, and then you're also going to see Panama in that group. So these are tips on teams that are going to be participating in the 2026 World Cup.
Yeah, okay, great. And when you spoke about the World Cup, I was just thinking about our beloved country Liberia. And do we have any major game or major competition that we'll be playing hopefully next year? Or we and our team will just watch the World Cup, and after the World Cup, and then we can go ahead.
We're just going to watch major competition for now, but we're going to be playing in the qualifiers for the next AFCON. So we are just
and Roland, you've been following sport, and you're a great sport journalist. With the level of what you've seen recently from the team, what can you say ahead of the upcoming AFCON competition when we have the opportunity to go for the qualifiers for AFCON?
I think one thing Liberia or Liberians should be proud of currently. We have brilliant young players who are making a stride in European football. Currently, you got almost four to five players in the Czech Republican League. And then you have other young players making here. You have two players currently playing for IE, Sudanese team, Emmanuel Flomo, who last played for Leska FC, and that of former Mate Barros talisman, Cole. So these are young players who are pushing their way through. And then Chauncey Freeman from the Wakanda is also there in Ghana, and then doing extremely well. So I think these are guys that we can hope for. Yeah, we can hope that they can get better day by day. Emmanuel Foley, who have been very good since joining Slava Prague. He have been good. Samson Dua have been good. Oscar Dolly have been good. We hope and pray. Divantier took a loan spell. We pray he can develop better. So these are players that we can hope for, and then thinking that Liberia can have a better team in the next 1 or 2 years. And then there are other young players on the local scene who are also pushing to make their way through to see how best they can travel to Europe And then to admit, Philip Tanu have been very sensational in the last 2 to 3 games with the national team. Doing Nelson Laomi has a competition with Manuel Foley, Sebastian Tikla from Lake Sky FC. So I think we're having a depth in quality in our national team now. A breed of young players. They want to push out that competition to see how best they can get Liberia to where we want to get.
Okay, getting Liberia to where we want to get. Quickly, I know our followers will be thinking if we'll be able to bring the country meet. What can you say to them? They should just keep their
Yeah,
screen on.
yes, indeed. The management of Wiz TV Liberia is working tirelessly. We are putting mechanisms in place to see how best we can stream live the 2025-2026 National County Sports League. And as a matter of fact, I know some of our followers, some of my individual followers, might be having that kind of trauma with my experience doing the county meet final that I had that kept me home for almost 2 months. I can say I'm fully fit and prepared now to do my work, what my passion calls for. I will be there in Grand Bassa County providing coverage of the 2025-2026 National County Sports Meet this weekend. And I can assure you, just keep following Wiz Online TV and Wiz TV. Keep to our screen. We're going to bring the game live to your doorsteps. We're going to provide you all of the best commentaries with the best soccer jargons as well.
Thank you so much for coming on tonight, Roland. And let's have your parting statements before we take leave tonight.
Yeah, so I must appreciate the cinema Wiz Online TV for providing the opportunity for young Liberians to come and pursue the passion where they choose to do. Big thumbs up to the senior management, most especially people, Mr. Simon Wise, Samuel Abu. You just named them, Tony Wise. The names goes on. But they have been doing extremely well. And many thanks there to my colleagues here at Wiz Online TV. You guys have been doing extremely well to see our best we can get for other media institution. And big thanks to the followers of Wiz TV, Wiz Online TV. We'd like to say a thumbs up to you all. And make this better. This is like your own business. You can keep sharing our live streaming, keep following our work, make your recommendations that can help improve Wiz Online TV. And let me say to you that come Saturday, we will not stream live the open there in Maryland County, but we can assure you the next day, which is on Sunday, the 14th of that December, we're going to stream live games from Nima County, and we're going to stream live games from Grand Bassa County, which I will be there, and our team members will also be in Nima County, Ganta City. So thanks for following us, and we can pray that Liberia can get better in sports. I hope Lofa County get a new coach ahead of their kickoff, and we hope and pray that Coach Cover Friday gets free from this, if only he's found not guilty, or if he is guilty. I think the law goes, but we all pray for the best.
Okay, we pray for the best. Thank you so much for coming on, Roland, and we hope you always be available as soon as we want to get updates on sports.
Thank you.
Okay. He's our reporter, Roland Bantokar. They're coming in with sporting situation from the National County Sports Meet, as well as the situation there from the how you call, let me get this photograph right, and we start to dive into these things. Let me get this photograph right. Let me get it. Yeah, so we want to basically look at uh we want to basically look at the US government and Liberia agreement, and then we can move ahead. So this was the photograph we saw, and between uh, the foreign minister as well as the the US uh, representative from the MOU there. So he's Jeremy Lewin. He's from the U.S. State Department, and on the Secretary for Foreign Assistance and Humanitarian. So the United States Department, um, State Department, right? The United States State Department and Liberian government through its foreign minister, the Liberian foreign minister, signed an MOU value at 124 million. And this is the first of its kind in West Africa after we had Kenya and Rwanda signing similar MOU that signifies a new level of health cooperation and bilateral engagement between the two nations. Now, this is what I want to establish. It's great. We've seen, the bilateral agreements. We've seen the government in itself is moving to a very great, great trace of how they can bring in some foreign assistance to the country. The last time we saw the US giving Liberians a 3-year visa was when we had an information that the government of Liberia accepted to bring a foreigner who is allegedly believed to be a criminal from the US that has been detained and needed to be deported to his country but refused, and Liberia accepted. Okay, someone would say, we haven't seen the man in the country and you're tied to the agreement. Fair enough. We also saw when Donald Trump, the president of the United States, took office and said that his government will no longer give free money. They will not get involved into trade. You give me something, I give you something in return. We saw he cut off the USAID projects that were running in our country, not just our country, but Africa. He cut off several other AIDS projects that were helping other countries and wants trade, business related. So we will get to it. It's great, right? 124 million. It reflects a great impact to our health sector, to developmental sector, and to be able to raise our health sector. You know, it's great. We having a very fragile health sector. We understand, but how would this materialize? I've had several experience that we had to report when government bringing these drugs for the health sector. We have people in those sectors that take them to their personal facilities. Yes, that's something we've seen. And if you not know, you've not seen anything. Yes. So I know is the bilateral MOU or whatever, it's an MOU, memorandum of understanding. It's great, which will also help us to upgrade our health infrastructure and capacity. It will help us to enhance disease surveillance and response mechanism as to how we can handle diseases like we have monkeypox. I've been told that a lot of people are coming down with that disease or virus, the mpox. We have it in our country, which we've seen little or no awareness from the Ministry of how you call it, the Ministry of Health, and expand access to technical expertise, medical trainings, and resources. And to be able to curb some of the potential challenges in our health sector. The issue of having this is great. I will always say the MOU sign is great, and we're hoping to see a great impact for our country, Liberia. Let this be in part for. It shouldn't just be, and again, we should not be able to understand what do the US want in giving us this money. Yeah, we listen to US President Donald Trump telling us it's trade for trade. You give me something, I give you something back. So if this money will be used to strengthen our health system, contributes to regional health security in West Africa, especially in preventing cross-border epidemics, you know, cross-border epidemics, you know, we have the likes of Ebola. We saw how Ebola treated us in this country. And we saw that. We had the likes of COVID-19 on the likes of former President George Weah. We saw how COVID-19 treated us in this country. And the likes of mpox now. And we also have seen a total huge rise in the level of HIV and AIDS. Of recent, we had a full report from the National AIDS Commission. So, how can we use these funds that are coming in? And what is it that the US will be getting in return for their 124 million that will be given to us to help strengthen our health infrastructure capacity and everything? What is it? I think that should be spelled out clearly to us, because if bilateral and regional diplomatic, you know, it should signifies the interest of geopolitical and international development. We should see something great from this money, and we should also be able to understand what is it that the government of the United States will be getting in return, since they told Africans that there will be no free money for them. There will be no free aid, but trade. Is it that the government of the United States wants something in return? Hmm? What is it? What is it? We understand if you get vocal with it, people will tell you that you are against the government, which is not true. We have to be grateful for what is happening, but also question the government, because they are accountable to us. They are accountable to us as citizens. You there in the market, riding your back, selling your bitter boy, your water and everything, the government is accountable to you. They needs to answer questions that you will ask based on things they will do, because you are their employer. As government officials, you employ them to power. Yeah, basically, you employ them to power. So they have to be able to tell you that the government of the United States signed this bilateral agreement with us, but they will be getting this in return. Or are we expecting another, you know, deportee from another country into our country to make the number two that we are expecting to come back to Liberia? Sometimes some of these things are good, but we should understand and be able to know what is it that we are giving back. Yeah, what is it we giving back? So is a great one there, and quickly I wanted to run into one quick discussion before we just close up. Let me see. Um, we've seen a lot of other things from across our country. So Ivan Wise, who once served as former assistant minister of agriculture during the WIA's administration, is now speaking that while the House decision to add extra 14 seats to the legislature, to bring the number up to 87, and at the House of Reps, and he talks about they should not be reducing their salaries. Senator attorney should be reduced, representative attorney should be reduced, and the president attorney should be reduced, and they should not be thinking of additional 14 seats. Replace the 14 seats with 14,000 jobs through factories, companies, industries to lift people out of poverty. Okay, it's great having you once serve in this same government, not under the same administration, but the same Liberian government. I guess you wasn't working for yourself as you were serving in the government. You were working for the Liberian people, not just to work and please your boss because you needed the job. Having after CDC lost election, you've been very vocal in how you handle your issues with the government and how government go ahead with these things. What is it that the CDC did to be able to reduce this turnout? Yeah, I remember 2020 midterm election. They had a referendum that people needed to vote with little or no awareness done properly to educate our people how to vote about this referendum. And we have whole lots of missteps during the election of the midterm. That's one. Two, your government was a government for the people. The people felt that former President Weah was young enough to be able to handle the country and change the narrative as a commoner, like every other common Liberian. Did the government of the CDC at the time created 14,000 jobs? I, Maybe yes, because they harmonized and created places. Again, the government of the CDC created factories and companies and industries to lift the people out of poverty. Do you know one reason why the people voted CDC out? Have you sit and ask yourself, Ivan, have you sit and asked? I think sometimes when you want to throw stones, you shouldn't be living in glass house and you want to throw the stone. Yeah, you shouldn't. So basically, I just want to tell uh, everyone that as a recap before we go, our government signed 124 million MOU to enhance our health sector in the country. What is it that the U.S. government wants in return is our biggest question we've asked, and we still ask the government of Liberia as to what is it that the needs to give the U.S. government while we receive uh, 124 million uh, as aid. Yeah, what is aid? That's one. What is it? And Ivan Weese as well talking about we want to agree with you, but what did your government do to help in some of those areas? This is not your government that these people want to create the 14 extra seat to make the seats 84 in the House of Reps, which is not something we want to say we strongly agree to. We do not. But what did your government do to help this process? That is what we should be talking about. What difference did the CDC brought to create jobs and factories and industries and companies for young people, not just young people, but Liberians to work and be able to live a better life? What did you do when you serve in this government as well? So basically, we like to say thanks to everyone for following us tonight on the program. Catherine, Katrina sends love, and I guess she's been following the show. Jamin Nuchisa says good job. Uh, Madam Julie Pewala is watching as well, and Bryant G. Samuel says good job. And we have somebody from our YouTube as well says Joe HF1VU says totally agree. And LeBron is following. He says following brother. So thanks to all of you for coming on and following Weez TV and Weez Online TV as well. And thanks to our management for affording us this opportunity to be able to come on and share with you all of these things that have been doing the day. And we on here on Tuesday and Thursday, 10 p.m. Liberia time, 5 p.m. the US time. Mr. Abu might be off the show for a while, so we're hoping to have him back as soon as possible based on his schedule. We'll also be able to look in for other, show panelists to be able to come on and serve. Thanks to Roland, who was also here to share with us sports updates. And thanks to all of you for watching us. Until then, we talk Thursday, beginning at 10 p.m. Liberia time. My name is William Papa McGill. Good night.
I cannot go to school, cause no more money. I can't stand no more, cause no more food. I cannot go to school, cause no more money. Hey yo, excuse me Mr. Genevieve, I wonder how you make your headlines in the press release today. Although I read the news every day, but I'm really still getting confused now. And I just wanna ask you some questions. Oh, is it based on money? Is it based on presidency? Is it based on technology? Is it based on war? Tell me, we gotta make your headlines. Oh,